right, All Things Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always. Today with me, like I said on my last video, I have Gus on the pod again. This is our annual over-under win totals pod using FanDuel. Gus, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me. I'm always it's always a pleasure to join you in the podcast.
Yeah, man, and I see you in your Hornets shirt. You're not a Hornets fan, though.
I am not, but I did this more as a troll.
Okay, okay.
And we'll get to that in a second when we go over the Hornets.
So the way these win totals are set up, they're actually, I believe they're in alphabetical order. So we're just going to kind of go down the line. We're going to start with the Western Conference. Let's start with the Dallas Mavericks. This was a tricky team. Small sample size. Obviously, if you're a Mavs fan and you like Mavs content, I have a LUKA DONCIC video out there. Also a recent offseason video. You guys can check that out. I'll put the link in the description. But obviously, so pre-Kyrie trade, these dudes were a fifth seed in the West, right? They were pretty solid, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously they make that move for Kyrie. I wasn't a fan of it. Still not really a fan of it. Didn't really look too good. But obviously when you kind of put such a polarizing player on a team and you kind of give up some depth to do it, obviously you're going to see there should be a little bit of a struggle from two guys that need the ball. I'll let you go first, though.
Yeah, so I think that you're absolutely right. It was a small sample size, but one thing we could agree on that they weren't very good once they traded for Kyrie.
Yeah.
You know, you're adding another ball-dominant guard when you already have LUKA DONCIC, who maybe top 2 in usage rate. So, when you do that, I don't know how good Kyrie is off ball. I mean, he did it with LeBron, but I honestly don't see this working very well. They don't have too many defensive players. I'm gonna go under.
You're going under on this
one. 44.5.
So you're just not convinced?
Yeah, I don't think so. They won 38 last year, and obviously they tanked a little bit at the end. And I know LUKA was also injured towards the end of the season.
Yeah,
but I still don't see them, getting to 45 wins.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention, 44.5 is the over/under number. So you're going under.
Yeah.
I gotta say, the defense part, right? Oh, go ahead.
I was also gonna say that the West is gonna be a bloodbath,
and so is the East. The East is. I don't know how you. I mean, obviously Dame goes there. The Celtics got a little stronger. So I think overall, the league is just a little bit better.
Yeah. There's definitely there's gonna be some more clear cut. Elite teams.
Yeah, and you mentioned the defense, right? That was a note that I had here. Obviously, defense, massive question mark, right? It's been addressed, in my opinion, to a certain extent. You have Grant Williams play multiple positions, right? They draft Derek Lively. They get Olivier Maxence Prosper, who they call Omax. Didn't watch a lot of him, but he's a guy that kind of improved every year in college. And obviously, he's a defensive-minded guy, kind of versatile piece. Still a rookie, though. When we expect rookies to kind of contribute in a big way, it's a little unrealistic sometimes. I really like what they did, though. I think that this team is too unpredictable, though. And if I'm going to pick an under, I think this is the team that you would go under with, just because, this could really, if they get off to a bad start, right, with this whole Kyrie LUKA thing, I think the panic button starts all over again.
Absolutely.
Right? And then it's what do we do, right? Are we going to just move Kyrie? I could totally see them panicking and just shipping Kyrie again,
Well, they got to keep, LUKA happy. So,
yeah.
And I don't think LUKA likes missing the playoffs. I mean, none of these players do. But,
yeah.
If like you said, if they have, a 8-12 start to the season, do they start, looking into shopping Kyrie, and then how much value does Kyrie really have?
Yeah.
We saw in the offseason that there weren't too many suitors.
Yeah.
So it's something that it's going to be the beginning of the season is going to be very important for them.
Agreed. Yeah, and we always agree on that. Just the start to the season is so important, especially for a team with so many questions. Every game this team loses, a new article about the Kyrie LUKA thing is going to come out. So This team has a lot of pressure for sure. You got the LUKA element, you got the Kyrie element. Mark Cuban's taking a lot of heat sometimes. But I guess we can move on. We both take the under. This one was interesting. Denver Nuggets, 52.5, 53 wins last season. Obviously, I believe in championship hangover season. That's just my main kind of thing. Jamal Murray, he pulled out from FIBA, right? To kind of rest a little bit, focus more on the recovery. Jokic, he's been partying. You know what I'm saying?
Not in the U.S. though.
Not in the U.S. Yeah. So he's been partying a little bit. I still think this is a top tier team. I think everyone agrees this is going to be a team at the top. Do I think they're going to be a number one seed? I don't know. I don't know.
And they could be a number 1 seed, but I just don't.
Yeah.
It could be closer to maybe 50 wins instead of 53.
Yeah.
Because we saw last year how Jokic, he's not as interested in the regular season.
Yeah.
Took some time off.
And he's still great regardless.
And he's still great regardless, yeah. And he could just turn it on for the playoffs. But
Lost Bruce Brown. That's a massive loss.
Huge
Huge
loss.
pickup for the Pacers. We'll get into that. I think Bruce Brown was a huge piece for this team. That just means Christian Brown is now going to probably get a lot more opportunity. He was huge in the finals. He was big for their run. Really good player in bursts. Interested to see what he's going to do with a little more responsibility. They lost Jeff Green. That's a big loss as well.
That is, yeah.
People will sleep on that loss. He's a vet. Now, obviously, he was a champ with them, filled his role, knew what he had to do. He was a good verbal vet on the bench. But I suffer from post-successful season paranoia. They had a great run, right? I think as the postseason kind of went along, it started to feel this is that team that's going to win. This is the team that's going to win. I don't know. I think obviously this team is going to have more of a target on their back. They just won the chip. They've got a little bit of miles on their legs now. I want to know how healthy Jamal Murray is after a run like that.
Yeah.
And I remember telling you last year, Jamal Murray's back. You know what I'm saying? He's fully healthy, but we're going to see what a long season like that does to a player like him.
I'm not too concerned about Jamal Murray. I think that, he probably pulled out a fever because he just played, 70-something games.
For sure.
I mean, not 70-something, but,
Got
an extra season, essentially.
Yeah.
Went all the way to the finals. I think that it was more probably the rest that he needed.
Yeah.
And, it was deserved.
How do you feel, though? Would you take the under over on this team?
I'm going to take the under, but not so much because I don't think they're going to be successful. I just think that, like you said, they're going to have a target on their back. Yeah. And the West is just that much better this year. Yeah. So I feel like, they may still be top 2 seed, but
for sure. Yeah.
I think it's going to be closer to 50 wins than 54.
Yeah. And I think I went under, but it's just a smidge.
Yeah.
Just a smidge. I got them, 52.5 is the number. I would say 52 wins. Right there.
Yeah. I agree.
Like we said, the West is better. The East has got some interesting things. Guys are getting better. So, I just think this is going to be a tough season, just like last year. Last year, there was a lot of parity in the West. I think we're going to see the same thing. And after a finals run like that, it could kind of slow you down just a little bit. They're still going to be great, right?
Absolutely.
They're still going to be great. We both take the under there. That's interesting. Next team on the list, we have the Golden State Warriors, 48.5, 44 wins last season. So clearly they think that this Chris Paul addition is probably going to take them a little bit over the top. I think they're a little beat up. Speaking of beat up, obviously Jordan Poole, now he's on the Wizards.
Yeah.
So I'll let you have the floor for this Warriors one.
So with Golden State last year, we saw them struggle throughout the whole season. One more year for Curry, one more year for Clay and Green.
Yeah.
Adding a veteran like Chris Paul, it's not nothing, but I still don't think that it's going to be enough to make them better.
Yeah,
I think
is this team a 49-win team?
Yeah, exactly. But Jordan Poole, I think, was an underrated loss for this team. I know that they had some issues with chemistry, but I don't think Chris Paul can replace that. We saw Chris Paul struggle a lot last year.
With the shot.
Yeah.
Staying healthy is always the problem.
And we know that with age on small guards,
it's not good.
It's not good.
Look at Kyle Lowry, right?
Exactly.
Obviously not the offensive guy Chris Paul is, but for sure.
Yeah, defensively he's not going to be able to do it. So I honestly think that this is going to be under. I think they may even get less wins than last year.
So less than 44.
I honestly think so. I don't think they're going to be that good this year.
Interesting. That's interesting. I'm taking the under, no question, right? That's not even a debate. My thing is, like you said, they lose Jordan Poole, and a lot of people are saying it's an underrated loss. I sometimes believe in addition by subtraction. I think that when you lose a guy like Jordan Poole, yes, you lose immediate offense, but you also lose high volume. You know what I'm saying? Like Steph Curry, high volume shooter. Clay, he likes to get a lot of shots. And then when you add a guy like Poole, if Poole's cold, that's a bunch of shots that are just getting, a lot of bonehead plays, right? Still kind of a young player, so I can't hold that against him either. I just think it's also good for the Warriors that there's going to be better shot selection, because these are already guys that take tough shots. And in my opinion, there was just no room for another guy taking so many bad shots as well. Obviously, they won the chip with Jordan Poole. But I just think you kind of reduce your mistakes as a team as a whole on offense, right? And also the defensive part, like Jordan Poole's not defending anybody either. So it's like those games where he's cold, he's also killing you on the other side. So, I'm definitely taking the under, and I think we can move on, right? You don't have anything else for them?
Well, the only thing I could add is with Chris Paul, if they make the playoffs, he will definitely help a lot.
Yeah.
Because, I think he's
of course,
an underrated playoff performer. I know he gets a lot of slack for, choking, but a lot of times it hasn't been his fault.
Yeah. He's just been injured all the time.
He's just been injured.
Always injured.
If he can make it to the finish line, he's great.
Yeah. And there's going to be some lineups. I can already see the lineups. Like, I would like to see Chris Paul off the bench. Just kind of, manning that second unit. But I'm also, interested because I know how these Warriors think sometimes. They like those small lineups, get out there and run. I definitely know we're going to probably see Chris Paul, Dre, Steph, Clay. Like, we're going to see something crazy like that. Yep. And to me, that's not a sustainable lineup. That's something they're probably going to do in bursts. So it's interesting to see. But we both go under on that.
Go under, yeah. And also, don't forget Green got injured recently.
That's right.
He's not missed the beginning of the, at least the training camp and
big loss. Yeah. Okay, so moving on next. This is probably my first shift. We have the Houston Rockets, 31.5, right? Nice little jump from 22 wins. Obviously, I did a Bright Future video on this team. I'll put the link in the description for anyone interested in that. This is a very active offseason team, which was interesting to see because, they're on like tank mode. And then all of a sudden, you got all these vets now on this team. You got Fred VanVleet, new coach. You got Fred VanVleet. You got Jeff Green. So these guys are making moves. It looks like they want to win now. Like, they're tired of the BS, right? They've hired they've drafted some like win now players, right? One of the Thompson twins is on this team. Just a team that's going full towards like, we're going to play fast. We're going to get a couple of more defenders. They got Dylan Brooks on this team. Obviously, Ime Udoka, big win now type of coach, right? Yep. He's out for blood this season to get some respect on his name, right? ALPEREN SENGUN, easily in my top 6 or 7 favorite players to watch. I did a video on him as well. I'll put that in the description for you guys. I think this team has a lot going for them, right? I think with how awful they were last year, they still strung 22 wins. Can they get a couple of more wins to hit 32? I definitely think so. And are they 10 games better with these names? Yeah, I think they are. And I'm taking the over on the Rockets.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be another one where we're going to agree.
Okay.
I'm taking the over. You mentioned earlier addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
This team had some issues with Kevin Porter.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that he's not a winning player.
Maybe.
I mean, I know he's young.
Yeah.
But then you also have another, you have several guards in there. You have VanVleet coming in. You have, obviously, Jalen Green.
A lot of guys that need the ball.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also the Thompson twin needs the ball as well, a little bit, because he's a little bit of he likes to make plays.
Yeah,
he's a playmaker, likes to get up and down the floor, very athletic, freak athlete. So we both take the over. I'm honestly not surprised because sometimes when we see these teams that they won a decent amount of games for a lottery team, like obviously it's 22 wins, it's not good. But if they need 10 more wins, and they've added some champs on this team, they've added a finals coach, right? Ime Udoka.
Yeah.
Got a good background, obviously. He's got ties to Greg Popovich. I think this team is on the up and up. Are they going to be a good team? I don't know.
You know what? I honestly think that they may be right at the edge of play-in team.
Okay.
Maybe 10th seed.
Yeah.
But you mentioned some other young players. One that we haven't mentioned is Cam Whitmore. He had Cam Whitmore, rookie.
Yeah.
Amazing summer league.
Huge pickup. Yeah. I like Cam Whitmore. Obviously Jabari Smith Jr., right?
Yeah,
he's a year better, hopefully. Some people came after me because I called him a good defender in the comments. And I think I kind of did a little too much eye test on that video. Because yes, obviously when you do take a second to actually watch Rockets games, he does get beat a lot. He positions himself a little poorly at times. But I do see flashes of what he could be as a defender.
Yeah.
He has some really good chase down block situations. He's got the size. He has the versatility. He's athletic. So he definitely can be a good defender. But when you look at the defensive rating, I think it's like 120. I don't even think it's pretty bad.
But also he's in a bad team.
That's true.
So that defensive rating, you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, none of those guys were defending last year.
Exactly.
Besides Tari Eason. Love Tari Eason, sleeper player on that team. I just wanted to give a shout out to Tari. The dark horse of dark horses every single season, it feels like. The Clippers, 46.5, right? Last season they got 44 wins, and I'll give you this one.
Yeah, last year I thought that they were going to be top 2 in the East, but obviously they dealt with a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
PG and Kawhi Leonard, they didn't play too many games together. So based on what I've been hearing from, Tyronn Lue, they're saying that they're going to be taking the regular season a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that they're going to be playing a little bit more. I'm thinking that...
Well, that's nice to know.
Yeah, well, we're hoping,
wow.
right?
Yeah.
With Kawhi, you never know, but I'm taking the over.
Okay.
I think that they're going to probably be around closer to maybe 48, 49 wins. Yeah, so I think that they're going to, win about 48 games.
Okay.
So I'm taking definitely
It's not a bad number. Not a bad number. 44 wins last season. Obviously, it's the same bullshit every season. Like, yes, on paper, great. Taking the over, no problem. But, listen, man, I'm so tired of picking this team as an over and picking this team as a dark horse and a sleeper. And yes, they're going to be that. Every year you have Kawhi and Paul George and depth around you is obviously a season that you feel like the Clippers can do something. And Kawhi went crazy before he got hurt in the playoffs. And he'll always show that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what he has left. He got hurt again. Those knees, I don't know what's going on with those knees. And if he keeps missing games, and then they're a Paul George injury away from us seeing, again, games played without both of these guys at times. Yeah. And that could take a hit, and they can't afford to lose those guys for these stretches because this season is a lot tougher. So I think this is my under. I'm taking the under, not because on paper I don't believe they're an over, but because I just too much sample size of one of these guys gets hurt, the other guy gets hurt, the chemistry's kind of wonky, and they're in the middle of the pack again because of that.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a full season of them healthy.
No, and if we did, easy over.
Yeah.
Easy over. I love Bones Highland, right? Super fun guy to watch. Modern day street ball player. He's really loosey-goosey, kind of, too free-flowy, but that team needs something like that. We like Terrence Mann, right? He might get traded. We don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know. That Harden situation is tricky. I wouldn't want to see Harden on this team, me personally. I think they have enough, in my opinion. I like what they have.
Well, I think the problem here is that they don't have too many. Well, you mentioned Bones Highland.
Yeah,
great.
He's a little something. Yeah.
You also have Russell Westbrook. But during the regular season, Russell kind of struggled quite a bit.
Yeah.
Especially earlier with the Lakers, and then when he switched over to the Clippers. I still think that they're gonna, like I said, they're gonna try to take the regular season a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
So
okay,
maybe not as much load management.
So you're taking the over because you just believe.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me.
And you know what? I honestly think that they're gonna probably get that Harden trade done.
Okay. And the Harden trade will certainly give them some more scoring punch, right? He's a really good distributor too. Sleeper guy that wasn't in the All-Star last year, definitely deserved it. Just on the numbers alone, he's a 20 and 10 dude.
He was a leader in assists.
Yeah, it's the health, it's the choke moments that we kind of are a little wonky with Harden. So all right, so I take the under, you take the over. I think that's our first one, right?
Yep, that's our first disagreement.
Cool. So here we have my wonderful Los Angeles Lakers.
Man.
Okay, these are my boys. 47.5, 43 wins last year. I'll go first since it is my team. According to almost everyone, the Lakers won the offseason, right? It's kind of hard to argue that, but you still can argue that.
I guess up until maybe last week.
I would agree. Yeah. And funny enough, these are notes I took a week ago. Definitely before the Dame trade was when I took these notes. So yes, they added your beloved Gabe Vincent from the Miami Heat, right? So that was awesome. I'm glad to see him. He's a player that fits exactly what you want alongside LeBron. Two-way guard, knows his role, knock down shots, get to the rim, doesn't play outside of himself, really. I like Gabe Vincent, liked what I saw. Was it a flash in the pan? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see when he's on this team.
We'll have to see. He was a starter for the Heat the last 2 playoff runs. So.
Yeah.
Now, I'm surprised that he wasn't named the starter. I think that he's a player that complements LeBron's skills a little bit more than Russell.
They got to build up his trade value, though. I think Russell's a guy they're probably going to move.
That's what it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That could be why.
Yeah, you couldn't let him just walk.
No.
So you have to sign him, and then hopefully he gets
good contract, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm taking the over, of course, with the Lakers. I don't know if you mentioned yours yet.
I did not.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You can cut me off when you want.
It's your podcast. Sorry.
Yeah, how dare you? What the fuck? Okay, so you take the over, and we're both literally right there. And I say I take the over literally by a hair, though. You know, I don't know. You know, they got Jackson Hayes, nice little security net for bigs, for obviously Anthony Davis. I think that what they did with Christian Wood, with Jackson Hayes, now they have like some decent size, so that when AD isn't out there, because you know that's gonna happen, they're gonna have a little more sustainability. Like, I think this team is much more sustainable, and they can withstand, you know, at least some stretches without AD, without LeBron. I believe in this team more than I did last year without either of those guys playing in random games.
This is actually where we're gonna disagree a little bit. I think they're gonna be a lot better than 47, and I'll tell you why. After the All-Star break last year, they had the second best record.
Yeah.
They struggled a lot earlier on. Obviously, LeBron was injured. You know, you're always going to deal with AD injuries.
Yeah.
But I do believe that their roster is significantly better and can take one of these guys being out for a period of time.
Yeah.
So, So I think they're going to probably get to, you know, it's 47.5. I think they get to around 50.
You think they get to 50. So I don't know. You know, I don't know. They've got some question guys here, right? Like they have, the guy's name.
Reddish?
Cam Reddish. Yeah. That's a question mark guy, right? We know he's bounced around a little bit. We know he's a bucket. We know he's, you know, a guy that teams have been really giving some opportunity, but some people will say he hasn't had enough opportunity. I happen to be on that side of the fence, so he has a lot to prove, in my opinion. Obviously, they keep Jared Vanderbilt. They kept their core, right? Yeah. Some core guys, which is important. And then they add, you know, Torian Prince, kind of like a journeyman kind of guy, right? Sizable. He's 6'6".
And I can't believe we've talked about the Lakers this long and we haven't mentioned the fan favorite, Austin Reeves.
Austin Reeves, yeah.
He had an amazing,
awesome FIBA.
You know, FIBA.
Yeah, awesome FIBA. And what I like about this Laker team too is they've added guys that are here to. They're tired of losing, right? And they know if you're on this Laker team alongside LeBron, you are going to be playing for something, right? Whether that's LeBron's last dance, which I don't believe. I think he's going to play maybe one more year. But you know, a lot of things, a lot of interesting things. What is this, year 21 for LeBron? And this dude is out here still killing it. You know,
hey man, they talk about LeBron investing, you know, for $1 million on his body.
That's right.
And, you know,
so
if you have $1 million laying around, you probably do the same.
And honestly, I'm a huge Laker fan. I've been forever, my whole life. So I think that's enough. We can talk about them. So I take the over. You take the over.
Yep.
So I guess we both agree on that. Let's go to the next one. This is a pretty interesting one. Grizzlies 45.5. Obviously 51 wins last year. They're gonna start 25 games without Ja. And at first I'm thinking, okay, no Ja, 25 games, give me the under. Yeah. You know, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Then I did my deep dive, right? I did a little look, right? Obviously, Marcus Smart, dude that's going to fill that two-way slot. You know, very important player to have on your team, especially if you want to win. I think he's definitely, I think when you add him on a team, I think he's worth a couple of wins. He's going to bring that grit, grind. This team has a lot of chemistry. Obviously, Jaren Jackson comes back from a really bad FIBA. Maybe he has a chip on his shoulder after that. Taylor Jenkins, we know, is an awesome coach. I think he's an underrated coach. Desmond Bane is still here, you know, and Josh Christopher, sleeper player, not going to be a difference guy. He was a G League guy, you know, kind of flip-flopping around between the Rockets and their G League team. I'm a big Josh Christopher dude. Luke Kennard's good. Kenny Lofton, right? Dude that gets his contract after not getting drafted. I think this team has a lot of things. D Rose obviously gets on this team. I'm going to take the over. I have a surprise over with the Grizzlies. I believe in that team, and I'll give you the,
Yeah, this is going to be another one where we agree, and here's why. Last year, obviously, they were one of the best defenses. They usually tend to play well without Ja.
Yeah.
And that's something, you know, they lost Tyus Jones.
Yeah.
It was a huge part as to why they played so well without Ja. But they, you know, they replaced him with
That's a good point,
Marcus Smart.
Right.
And, you know, sorry to say this, but the carcass of Derrick Rose.
The carcass of Derrick Rose.
Yeah, he's the cadaver.
Yeah. But
I don't know how much he has left.
But still serviceable, I think. You know, because he didn't play a lot in New York.
You're right.
So he's got, you know, he's pretty rested.
He shows flashes last year with New York. You're absolutely right. I shouldn't have said that. But
nah, but it is, honestly, I mean, yeah, he's been around. You know, he's been around. So...
And one big return from Steven Adams. You know, last year he was only supposed to miss like 6 weeks with like a knee injury.
Yeah.
Ended up missing the rest of the season and the playoffs. And you can tell how much they missed him during the playoffs.
Yeah.
Against the Lakers. Usually when he plays, they play well.
Okay.
You know, they make
Yeah.
Triple J his his natural position of power forward.
That's right.
So that's why I'm taking the over. I think they're going to be a good team again,
Awesome.
just like last year.
We
I know.
both agree. Yeah.
I know that last year they had like a rough start, and then out of a sudden they took off and won I don't know how many in a row.
Yeah, that's right.
And then as soon as Ja said something about like they're good in the West,
They're good in the West, and then it just
they
went
lost
downhill.
like 10 in a row or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
which is interesting because this is just a team that very Heat-like, right? Where it's like you think they should just be like dead in the ground, and then they somehow just string some wins, right?
Yeah.
They, like you said, they lose Ja. I think they started the season without Jaren Jackson Jr., didn't they? Or he was coming back from like a foot situation.
something like that. Yeah.
So this team just doesn't go away. And Taylor Jenkins is a great coach, like you said. Also, like you mentioned before we move on to the next team, Tyus Jones, big loss, but I'd rather have Marcus Smart than Tyus Jones. That's just me.
I mean, I
That's
think
just me.
Tyus Jones is probably the best backup point guard in the league.
He's up there. So yes, he's definitely up there as a backup guard. Super sleeper backup guard. Efficient, right? Doesn't turn the ball over. Just does the right things. He's gonna be really good for Washington. But to me, the defense from Marcus Smart. Yes, he's definitely lost a step. People kind of also overrate the defense at this point. But I do think he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder after being traded.
Absolutely.
And I think there's a lot to be said about that. Also, he's going to be a very big leader while Ja's kind of not out there. I don't know. I like Marcus Smart. Me personally, I'm a fan of him. Does have some bonehead plays at times, takes some tough shots. But I think he's going to be really good for this team.
But he's a gamer.
He's a gamer.
He's a gamer.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be a great addition to that team, and that's
Yeah.
I guess that's why we're both taking the over.
Awesome. So we can move forward to Deadland Palooza. Hopefully they can survive now. Hopefully we get a good year for these guys. The Timberwolves, 44.5, 42 wins last year. I'll let you take this one.
So with many, I'm taking the under. I don't love the fit between Gobert and Cat. As
Okay.
much as I love Cat and as much as I love Anthony Edwards, I just don't think that that's a good fit.
Yeah.
Gobert clogs up the paint, and then and he's there for the long run. Honestly, he's not gonna.
Maybe.
They're not gonna be able to get rid of him. Not with that contract.
You always say that, and I always tell you no contract's immovable. Guys get moved, man. Guys get moved.
You're right.
They get
Somebody
moved.
like Atlanta could probably trade for him.
He's a shot blocker that can rebound. He's on a crazy deal though. So I understand. He's not going to be easy to move, but I do think he can get moved.
Yeah, for a desperate
Yeah.
team, you're right.
Yeah.
But either way, though, I think that they're not going to be able to get there. I think they're going to be. Let's see. Last year they got 42.
is the.
They're
Yeah.
probably going to be around 500. So same as last year.
Okay.
So I'm
So
taking the under. On
You're
that one.
taking the under. After FIBA, everyone's expecting Ant-Man to take another leap, right? Because last year was a good leap for him as well.
Yep.
He was amazing at FIBA. Had great games. I really want this team to be good so badly because I love small market teams. It's always awesome for the NBA to have teams like this just be relevant. But I can't get behind it either. I think we can kind of go past this a little bit. Jaden McDaniels, I think
great.
he's set for having a breakout season. I think we were waiting for that last year, and I think this year hopefully is that time. They're going to really need Jaden McDaniels to kind of be unleashed. Naz Reid, obviously fan favorite for the Timberwolves. I'm a fan. I like him. I think this team hovers around the same place last year, like you said. I have that in my notes as well. 42 to 44 wins, maybe. And I take the under as well. So we can move forward unless you have anything else for that.
No. This team is.
I just don't. Yeah, like you
There's
said.
nothing that grabs my attention,
Yeah.
other than Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, back to the real quick. I just want to say this. I've said it many times on different pods, but Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns. The reason I don't like that is because it really makes Karl Anthony Towns jump shoot even more.
Yeah.
Because it's just tough for him to get to the rim if Gobert's down there.
Yep.
Guys are going to play in drop coverage against those Timberwolves. So yes, there's going to be a cluttered paint. It's just difficult. I don't like it. I didn't even like the trade when it happened for Rudy Gobert because I literally said it was going to turn Cat into more of a jump shooter. And yes, he's a great shooting forward, right? Like a power forward. He's a great shooter, one of the best in the league. But it takes away from more opportunities. You get more fouls, get to the free throw line, so I guess we can leave it at that.
Especially a league that's going smaller and smaller every time.
Yeah.
Centers are getting smaller,
Yeah.
and then they decide to go the other way,
Yeah.
and they get huge.
For sure. So we can move on to this team. Super interesting one. Pelicans, 44.5, 42 wins last season. You can take this one, and I'll follow.
So I think with New Orleans,
Yeah.
it's tough to kind of gauge them because it's like, how many games is Zion gonna play? You know, so with him, it's kind of tough to tell. I'm gonna take the under just because, you know, there's that big mystery of, is Zion gonna play half a season? Is he gonna play a quarter of a season?
Yeah.
If he's healthy, then obviously I would take the over, but I just don't believe that he's there. I saw, you know, they say that he got in tremendous shape.
Yeah.
But I still don't think that, you know, his body is meant for a long NBA season.
So you believe in the Clippers, but you don't believe in Zion?
Yes.
Wow.
Because I've seen
Okay.
Kawhi healthy. I've seen Paul George healthy. I haven't seen Zion in different teams.
Have we seen Kawhi healthy?
In Toronto.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was 2019.
You're right. 2019 is not 2 years ago.
That's a long time
You're
ago.
right.
You know, so but I understand what you're saying. Like, at least with the Clippers, they've got some, you know, but the Pelicans have guys, man. They got guys, man.
But the West is.
It is.
I'm just thinking, are there, you know, can you find 8 teams better than New Orleans? And I think you can.
8 teams better?
Yeah.
In the Western Conference?
Yes.
Okay, let's go through it right now. We'll do a little quick exercise. Mavs.
No.
Okay. Nuggets.
Yes.
Warriors.
Yes.
Rockets.
They'll be close.
So we have 2 so far, right?
2. Yeah.
Okay. I'll take the Pelicans over the Rockets for
Okay.
sure. Clippers.
I think the Clippers are going to be better.
Okay, so that's 3. Lakers, yeah.
Yep.
Grizzlies.
Yep.
Okay. Timberwolves, no.
I think they're going to be on the same tier.
No.
Yes. They're
No
going to be
way.
around 500, both of them. And I think that New
But are they a
Orleans-
better team than the Pelicans?
On paper, yes.
No. Than the Pelicans? Trey, come on. Trey Murphy, obviously he's hurt, but he's coming back. Trey Murphy, CJ McCollum, you got Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Ingram had one of the worst FIBA runs.
He did. So he could have a little chip on his shoulder.
Oh,
You know?
he could.
We're hearing
You're
some
right.
rumors. Maybe he's not happy in New Orleans. Maybe they're gonna move him. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that. But obviously Zion, you know, when he plays, it's a massive
Absolutely.
difference maker when he
If you
plays,
would assume
man.
that Zion is going to play the whole season, I would say yes, they're better.
If he gives me 65 games, this team is winning a lot of games, dude. You know, but remember they were the 1 seed for a hot minute, like
at the beginning of the season, right?
yeah, they were trending, man. This was a good team. Teams don't have an answer for Zion, which is interesting to say.
I know, right?
It's very interesting. You know, Dyson Daniels, year 2. Valanciunas comes back from an awesome FIBA. You know, we're looking at some guys, man. EJ Liddell, he tore his ACL, I think, during Summer League. He's gonna officially be a rookie this year.
But that's fine. I'll give you Minnesota.
Okay.
Let's go next.
OKC.
OKC.
Yeah.
OKC's gonna be better.
I'll take OKC.
Phoenix Suns.
Phoenix.
They're gonna be better.
So we're over it, right?
Sacramento. They're
Yeah.
gonna be better.
Kings. So yeah.
That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
You know,
And then it's the Spurs, Jazz, Portland, you know. So yeah, you're right. You know, maybe 7, 8 teams around there. So yeah, I guess you're right. I guess it's all gonna come down to the Zion thing.
yeah, absolutely.
Like, for sure. Because if
Absolutely.
Zion plays, I'm confident against half of those names, in my opinion. I think Zion's worth a lot of wins when he's out there, man. I took the over.
You took the over? Okay.
Yeah, it's a pinch, though. Just a pinch, you know, because it's 44.5. So 45 wins. I think this team with Zion, if Zion gives me 50 to 60 games, I think they can get 45 wins. That's my little bet. So, little over. Okay, I'm surprised. That's a good one. OKC. This is like I think everybody wants to pick over,
Yeah.
but I think, like,
They're not there yet.
I definitely think they're there. This is one where it's like, I don't know, man. I'm gonna let you go with this one first, because I need to rethink my whole life.
So last year they won 40 on a very young team,
Yeah,
and they're saying essentially they're gonna win 5 more games this year.
yeah,
I think they will.
yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a lot. I don't think they're going
does
to be a
that-
50-win team, but
Yeah.
I think that they're going to win at least 5 more games.
But you know what's on them this season that wasn't on them last year?
Target?
I wouldn't say target. I would say more of a spotlight. Like, I think even the casual NBA fans are like, yeah, OKC. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
weren't hearing people talk about OKC like that.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
right.
and now this year, it's like the new beautiful small market team that's about to take off, because obviously Shea makes first team All-NBA. Josh Giddey, easily one of my 5 favorite players to watch. Chet Holmgren, who I still would have loved to see go number 1, but, you know, we'll see what happens with him. I'm a huge fan of Chet.
You got Jalen Williams.
Jalen Williams. This is a team that can definitely win 45. Are you taking the over on this one, though?
I am taking the over.
Yeah.
And
Lu
mostly
Dort.
because of, Victor Oladipo, showing his veteran presence there.
Are you trolling or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with him.
Yeah, he's probably gonna get waived.
But man, like Lou Dort, Trey Mann, it's kind of a name that some people might not know. He had a huge summer league. I mean, he was amazing in this last summer league. I'm just worried about how good the rest of the league is, but I'm still gonna take the over because I think we all agree this team's really good.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think they're gonna win 50 wins. But
Yeah, me neither.
I think 5 more wins.
Yeah.
I would give it to them.
I will say I got some two dudes that I'm pretty cool with. These guys do like an OKC Thunder podcast. I think they're twin brothers or they're brothers, and they are super dedicated. These are the biggest OKC fans I know. I had to give them a little shout out. It's an OKC Thunder pod. It's called The Last Storm. These dudes, they have
Great
some
name.
a little dope name. They have like they're very like Homer-ish with this team. They're unapologetic about it. They have some crazy. They think this team's gonna be they think this team's gonna literally be like a 2 seed or like a 3 seed. Like,
wow.
Like these dudes are really on this team. I think it's a little bit of blind love though. I think it's a big jump for a young team to do something like that. So no, I don't think it's gonna be that amazing, but I will take the over on this team. I think we can move on, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Phoenix Suns 52.5, 45 wins last year. What are we thinking?
I actually find this one a little tough.
Yeah.
Because they did add a lot of players, a lot of star power. I put the over.
You have over on it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're assuming 53 minimum.
Yeah, I think they're going to be really... It's KD. KD just wins games if he's healthy.
He wins games. You got Bradley Beal hungry. He's been on dog shit teams for a long time.
Absolutely. Devin Booker, who everybody's saying is the best shooting guard in the league.
He's up there. I wouldn't give him that, though.
Who do you put above him?
We could probably do another conversation another day for that one. But, I feel like only 2 teams cracked 50 wins last year in the West. You got Yuta Watanabe. You've got some lanky guys on this team that can get out and run and even spread the floor. So they're going to win off of offense. Okay. So I went under for this team, and it's just a smidge. I just feel like, it's a very, like a bunch of new guys are on this team now, So I think that's going to take a little bit of time. New coach as well, Frank Vogel, more of a defensive-minded guy. I like Frank Vogel. I think the Lakers threw him under the bus, to be honest with you. But I do think like 52, 51, like right under the numbers. So that's why I went under. I think in a packed West where, like I said, only 2 teams got 50 wins, I would like to see how they even get there. So I'll take the under.
And I guess more of an argument for the over. They were the only team that won 2 games against the defending champions.
Against the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Okay.
They won 2 games, and they were injured.
They did it on ridiculous shooting stretches from Devin, though.
You're
He shot
absolutely
nearly perfect.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I will say you're right because they didn't have 3-point shooting. They were like at the bottom in the playoffs and in the regular season as well. Like this team just didn't shoot a lot of threes.
Yeah.
Now they have 3-point shooters around them. You know, Yuta Watanabe, we know him. They've got shooting.
And I think honestly a better offense because Frank Vogel's not known as an offensive coach, but I honestly think he's a better coach than Monty Williams.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
But, I think I have them both on like the same tier. Like I don't think one is that much better than the other. I feel like I don't know. Frank Vogel won a chip with the Lakers.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
Yeah.
But I never saw like decisions by Frank Vogel and being like, "What are you doing?" With Monty is like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
and it wasn't just me. The narrative on Twitter was all over the place.
Yeah, definitely some questionable things. So we'll see. I think so. I took the under, you took the over. We've disagreed on a couple of these, so that's not bad. Sacramento Kings being disrespected after an awesome season.
I know.
44.5, which is a couple of losses or a couple of wins less than last year. I'll go right away with this one. Highest offensive rating in NBA history last year. This was an incredibly fast team. They shot a lot of threes. They made a lot of threes. Obviously, Mike Brown revives his career as a head coach. There was a lot of stigma around him.
Oh, yeah.
Super modern offense, right? Seemingly unstoppable 2-man game between Sabonis and Fox. If you drop on Sabonis, you're giving Fox some floaters on those pick and rolls, and Fox can also get downhill. And if Fox continues to kind of improve that 3-point shot, it's a damn near unstoppable 2-man action. You're also surrounded by 3-point shooting. This is a very good offensive team. And when you have elite offense like this, you're going to win a lot of games.
Absolutely.
44.5 is really low. And I think I can easily just take the over.
Yeah, I'll take the over as well. Like you said, the best offense in the league last year.
Yeah.
And they came back with relatively the same team.
Yeah.
So
plus some, right? Like who did they add here? They added JaVale McGee, right? Kind of, last legs, but
center,
rim protector though.
But, you still got Kevin Huerter, Fox.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna be. Oh, actually, Chris Duarte.
Yes, from the Pacers. Yeah. Big pickup.
Yeah,
big pickup. Assuming he kind of, shows again what he kind of lost a step a little bit. A lot of people were fans of him in Indiana, and then I heard a lot of people turning their backs on him really quickly. So, 24th defensive rating last year for the Kings. So obviously the defense was somewhat of a focus when they got JaVale McGee because they had 0 rim protection. So yeah, I think the over is easy for this team, to be honest.
Yeah, offense wins games. And they were the best offense. And there's no reason to believe that their offense is going to drop off or that it was a fluke.
Are they going to set another record offensive rating like 119? Maybe not.
I would say no, only because I think there's more footage on them.
Yeah.
There's more film. People are going to be able to, figure out what works defensively against them.
Yeah, and this team lives and dies by obviously their offense. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. So we both take the over there. Pretty simple. San Antonio Spurs, we're almost done with the West. 28.5. Tiny jump from the 22 wins. Wemby sweepstakes are over. The Spurs finally got their dude. I'll let you get with this one. I'll let you start this one.
So I don't think that Wemby is going to play a lot of games. I think that Pop is going to protect him. And I think the West is that much better. There's not a lot of teams trying to tank.
Yeah.
And somebody has to lose.
Somebody's got to lose.
So, unfortunately, San Antonio, this is you. I'm taking the under on 28.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the under on the Spurs. Just some quick hitters for this team. I took a couple of notes. Love Devin Vassell. Just got paid. We'll see what he's got. Yeah, we'll see what he's got. I really like him. I think he's got some serious potential. Obviously, this is a name a lot of people might not be familiar with. Blake Wesley. I don't watch a lot of Spurs games, but I was a fan of him before he got to San Antonio. Guy that I don't think played much for them. Interesting guy there. I think he was the youngest player ever out of Notre Dame. Wow. Guard, loves middies. Just kind of a guy that wasn't good on contact. Not sure what's going to happen this year, so we'll see. We'll see what goes with him. Julian Champagnie and also Dominic Barlow. They had really good summer league games. Interested to see what they do. Malachi Branham's another guy. Just some names that I wanted to throw out there. I'm a fan of the G League Ignite, as you know. So they drafted Sidi Sissoko. I was really big on him. After watching him in the Summer League, I wasn't so sure. But yeah, I'm going to take the under, and we'll see what happens. Also, real quick, the name I gave you last year, Sandro Mamukelashvili. I don't know if you remember that name from a pod like a year ago.
Yeah, that really impressed me where you were able to remember that. And
he's on this team, so interesting. Okay, so
between that
Utah.
And Wembanyama.
Wembanyama, yeah.
It's going to be
Utah, though, 35.5. I'm just going straight into this. This was a surprise team, right? They started off hot. I was really on they're going to start hot, and then eventually they're going to come back to earth. That's basically what happened. You got a lot of guys that are like, prove it, right? Prove it, guys.
Yep.
Interesting to see a team like that. I still think in a season where everyone seemingly got better, I'm taking the under for the Jazz.
Yeah, I think they sold a lot of their win now pieces.
Yeah.
To the Lakers. So
John Collins is now there, though.
And the same thing, like I said about the Spurs, somebody has to lose.
Somebody got to lose.
So I think what's going to happen with them is they're probably going to have a poor start and then just go into the tank.
Maybe. I think young teams do tend to like take advantage of already being fresh legged, in shape, and sometimes they can really like kind of be, and then people are like, they jump on the train real early, and then the team kind of once the older teams kind of get a little more kind of warm up a little bit more after a couple of games, everyone kind of comes back to earth a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Jazz get off to like another, good little 15 stretch. Optimism for the Jazz fans for sure. Taylor Hendricks, pretty sleeper pick. We'll see what he's got. But yeah, so we both go under on them. Let's see. Portland Trailblazers, I'll just give you the number, 28.5.
Whatever it is, just take the under.
Just take the under?
Yeah.
It's interesting because Dame's finally gone. DeAndre fits the timeline. They got a really good haul for a team that wants to rebuild. You get a lot of picks. You keep your young guys.
You pair them with a young center that, like you said, fits their timeline and is going to be hungry.
Yeah.
And he had a great FIBA for the Bahamas.
Yeah, he did.
So, you know what? I think that he's going to have a great season, a great bounce back season.
This could be a team that just randomly gets 29 wins. Randomly, and I'm scared for that. I'm scared for that.
You know what? I was saying joking to take the under, but yeah, I do think
28.
I like their roster. I like their roster.
Yeah, Shaedon Sharpe. Now we get to see more Shaedon Sharpe.
Scoot,
Scoot, obviously. Yeah, man. Anthony Simons.
Oh, Simons.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you know,
Simons.
Man, we're going to see a lot of guys that we wanted to see more of. Now we're going to see more of. And it could be to a fault, right? Like now that they have more responsibility, there's more room for error now, right? Or less room for error, because then they can definitely lose games not having to bail out Damian Lillard to just go out and drop 30. So it's going to be interesting, but I definitely take the under for this team.
They got Robert Williams there.
That's right.
Who's surprisingly only 25 years old.
That's right, and always hurt.
Yeah.
Love Rob Williams. The problem with him was obviously the availability. You know, this dude was hurt a lot. And we'll see if the Celtics miss him, though. You know, he's obviously a really good rebounder. So that's going to be interesting. But, yeah, we both take the under on the Trailblazers, and then we can move on with the Eastern Conference.